In this video, I'm going to go over all the ways you can start making money as a music producer starting from zero. Hopefully by the end of the video, you'll know what you can do right now today to start generating income as a producer. The first thing you need to do is actually get good at making beats and samples. I know that sounds obvious, but a lot of people skip that. In short, that means making beats and samples that inspire people to write lyrics to. That also means understanding what melodies and samples are currently working and what drum patterns and tempos are currently trending, what sound selection is popular right now, and understanding music to a point where you can make all that work together. The methods I'll be breaking down in this video are leasing and selling beats through BEATSTARS, working in the industry and getting placements, sample packs and landing collabs through samples, making producer content through YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Approach number 1, leasing and selling beats through BEATSTARS. There's a few different methods that work. Some are faster with limited upside, and others are more of a longer play, but you can eventually earn more. In my opinion, there's no reason you can't do both. I would recommend the fast method to start generating income and buy yourself some time, and then you can utilize the longer play to really grow your income. Method number 1, direct sales. The fast method is literally just finding and DMing artists on Instagram to sell beats. It's a grind for sure and probably uncomfortable for a lot of producers, but it does work if you can become a good salesman and routinely push yourself outside your comfort zone. It's pretty straightforward. This is how you do it. Step 1, go to other producers' Instagrams that are in the same lane as you. Step 2, go through their commenters and followers, go to one of their pages, see if they have a link to their music in their bio, and then listen to a few of their songs. Step 3, send a message complimenting one of their songs and ideally quote some lyrics. Step 4, let them know that you have beats for sale that you think would fit their sound. And then send some BEATSTARS links with a couple of beats that you think would actually fit them. And then just repeat. It's super simple, but a lot of producers are afraid to do this or they don't have the endurance. A couple keys to this is to actually be genuine and to actually pay attention to the artist and find out and try to provide what they're looking for. If you're trying to make the sale, that's your job and responsibility. Don't ask them what they're looking for, put in the work and find out for yourself. To be honest, you're not gonna get rich doing this, but you could probably pay your bills and start building a legit client/fan base. If you reach out to 100 people a day, which is not easy, but possible, and you can do it for 365 days in a row, that's 36,500 people that you've had a quality interaction with. If you could get only a quarter of them to sub to your YouTube channel or follow you on IG, then you could grow a following of 9,125 people in only a year. Keep in mind, I was making about $1 per subscriber a month in the beginning, so that could translate to some considerable income. And if your stuff is legit good, they'll share it and things can really snowball. Honestly, most people lose confidence or don't have the endurance to make this work and fall off after a few days or weeks. But if someone with good beats were to actually commit, then it would work, and it actually has worked for me in the past. I was making roughly $1,000 a month with this strategy and I wasn't going as hard as I just recommended. Method number 2, growing a type beat channel. This is the longer approach, but it has more upside. I'm just gonna sum this up real quick because I have a video that goes in depth on this topic. Basically, start posting daily or as much as you can while maintaining quality. Niche down as much as you can in the beginning with a plan to expand. Experiment with a bunch of different types of beats, and when you find something that works, double down on it. Study successful channels and the channels that are pulling the most views. Pay attention to some of the common themes with those channels and see if you can incorporate some of those themes into your own channel. For more details, check out my How to Grow a Type Beat channel video. The link is in the description. A successful type beat channel is great because unlike direct sales where you can reach 100 people a day, you can reach as many as 150,000 people a day with a successful type beat channel. For me personally, it took about 18 months of daily uploads to really blow up my type beat channel, but I was making about $1,000 to $2,000 a month off it within 3 to 5 months of pursuing it. At the highest level that I know of, you can earn $20,000 to $50,000 a month. A lot of that depends on the current state of the beat selling market though. Method number 3, growing a BEATSTARS account and using BEATSTARS promo. This is a great way to get started from scratch. It's very sustainable and you can do it at scale. With this approach, you will get eyeballs on your beats. So if you don't sell, you're not inspiring artists to rap. It's simple as that. Step 1, build a catalog of beats. I'd recommend studying the beats on the top charts and finding a style that works for you and sticking with that style. Step 2, take your best beats, the ones that people respond the most to, and promote them through BEATSTARS promo. Step 3, reinvest whatever you can afford to lose. This method works if the beats are hard and they're relevant. If you think about what happens when you buy promo, the beats come across the homepage and the top charts of BEATSTARS. So when someone is shopping for beats, they will hear your beats first. So if your beats are able to inspire them to write a song, then they'll buy it. Also, you might have a really good beat that catches someone's ear, but it's not what they're looking for right now. Odds are they'll go check out your page and start digging into your catalog. So that's why it's so important to stay consistent and build a quality catalog of beats. I personally know people that generate over 6 figures a year with this approach, so there's a lot of potential here. In my personal experience, it takes about 2 to 3 days to start making sales when I run promo. There's a saying in marketing that you have to make 7 7 impressions to make a sale. That's probably not exactly true, but that's a good rule of thumb. And that's almost certainly what happens when you run promo. For example, the first time an artist hears a beat that they like, they might nod their head, come up with an idea, but then maybe they get distracted and move on to something else. Second time they hear it, they're like, oh yeah, I remember this beat, I liked it, and maybe they'll like it or add it to a playlist. Then maybe the third or fourth time they hear it, they come up with a verse or a hook or some sort of idea, and they're like, I need this beat right now, and then that's when you make a sale. Or enough time has passed that they've been able to write a full song to it, and then that's when you'll make the sale. That's typically why this approach takes a few days to work, and you shouldn't give up after day 1 with no sales. This can get concerning if you're dumping a lot of money into promo, so start with an amount small enough that you can go a few weeks to a month without getting scared or stopping. Approach number 2, working in the industry and getting placements. Very strong pros and cons to this route. It's very high risk, high reward, especially if it's your only stream of income. Pros, most likely has the highest ceiling, most public recognition. If you're successful, you can work with your favorite artists, one of the fastest ways to build your social following, and you'll actually be able to explain to your family what you do for a living. Cons, most inconsistent form of income in the beginning. It's very high competition. There's only so many major artists, and there's a ton of producers who would love to make beats for them. Can be difficult to get paid. Sometimes the labels may even do this on purpose. A lot of things can be outside of your control, like whether or not a song is released, and you probably don't get paid as much as you think you might get paid for a placement. In my experience, and from what I've heard, you can get about a $1,000 to $10,000 advance, and the rest depends on the performance of the song. You could potentially deal with egos, politics, maybe difficult or even shady industry people, but like Drake said, they only finesse you when you don't move properly. So how can you start generating income through this approach? This one is tricky and requires a lot of patience, persistence, and creativity. Odds are this is not a quick journey. In my opinion, this could really take a decade to succeed at a high level. You're not going to stumble into the studio with Drake. You need to know the right people and honestly get a little lucky with timing. Having the ability to navigate the politics and make the connections is a skill in itself, separate from producing. I haven't successfully pulled this off at a high level, so here's some ideas that I think can work. Build a notable brand online that you can leverage to get into the right rooms. It's worked for me. Start small and start working with smaller artists that are either close to or signed to the major artists that you want to work with. I saw in an interview this is the route that Murder Beats took. Move out to LA and network with everybody you possibly can and go to every single studio session that you possibly can. From what I've heard, this is what KBZ did and how he got the song moved. Become an incredible sample maker and reach out to the producers who are in the right rooms. Or sell sample packs to leverage your skill to get placements. Dylan Graham is doing this right now and he's killing it. Build with an artist that you have a lot of faith in, and if they blow up, that could potentially catapult you to the top of the industry very quickly. This is what Boy Wonder did with Drake and Jetson with DaBaby. I'm personally working on the sample route because I think that's the best way to network and get your foot in the door without wasting a bunch of time in pointless studio sessions. And worst case scenario, if I don't land big placements, I'll have a very valuable skill that I can monetize and build a business off of. Approach number 3, sample packs and landing collabs through samples. If you've already developed the skills and can make samples at a high level, this is the fastest way to start generating income. It's the hardest skill to develop and it takes the longest, which means it has the highest barrier to entry and has the least amount of competition, so it's easier to stand out. It's a cheat code to networking because if you're dope, you have so much real unique value to offer that people are gonna want to work with you. You can also sell the sample packs and get the upfront money, and then later if your samples get plays, then you'll get back end money as well. Another cool thing is you can leverage other people's audiences because you have a valuable skill that most producers with a platform don't have themselves. A lot of the bigger producers do drums only, so they're always in need of fire samples. So how can you get started generating income through this approach? There's 2 different methods that I know from experience to be very effective. Method number 1, collabing with top sellers on YouTube and BEATSTARS. In order to generate income through this approach, you need to get added as a collaborator with someone who gets views and sales. And then when someone purchases a beat, the money is automatically split, usually split 50-50 between the loop maker and the person who has the platform and probably did the arrangement and drums. Here's exactly how you land these collabs. Step 1, study what's working on YouTube and BEATSTARS right now. Step 2, create high quality samples in that style. Step 3, collect the producer's emails that do that style. Step 4, reach out to them on IG and then start emailing ideas daily. If you send relevant, high quality samples for 365 days in a row, I promise that you'll have a legitimate business. And it's amazing how much faster you improve when you put your work out to be judged over and over again. Also, a lot of people are afraid to do this because they're worried that they're gonna come across as spammy. But if you're providing value and your stuff is high quality, then that's not an issue. You can't send too many good loops. It's only annoying if you're trash. Method number 2, selling sample packs through Instagram. Once again, if you have the skill, you can monetize very quickly. For example, I went from $500 in revenue in a month, and a month later, I made $3,000 in revenue. However, it's taken me 7 years of working on my skills to be able to do that. This strategy is super straightforward if you have high quality samples. I'm gonna lay out the approach that I did personally that I know for a fact works. works. Step 1, create a minimum of 10 to 20 high quality samples that have a similar theme. It's important to stick with a niche and develop a sound. Step 2, package up the samples in a pack, get high quality artwork, and build a Shopify site. Step 3, post the pack to IG and have a picture of the cover and then audio previews on each slide. Step 4, run Instagram ads on the post and have Instagram target an automatic audience. This works great because Instagram and Facebook literally know more about you than your own family. So they're very good at finding the right audience to show your sample packs to, which is producers who buy sample packs. Another cool thing about this approach is your samples will inevitably get in front of high-level producers, and this can be a great way to land placements. Making producer content through YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. In my opinion, this approach has some of the most upside and longevity, and is one of the best ways to build an invincible brand. It's actually what I'm doing right now in this video on this channel. One of the reasons I believe this is because I did the math on how many sample packs I sell per view on this channel, and if I use that ratio to find out how many sample packs I would sell if I were getting 1 million views per month on this channel, then the number is very motivating to say the least. If you can create entertaining, informative videos over and over again, it's inevitable that your brand and social accounts will grow. For example, when I'm making one of these videos, I think to myself, I want to make this video so interesting and add so much value that people text it to each other and actually transcends the algorithm. It's not an easy thing to do, but if you can actually pull that off where people really text it to each other, you can't lose and your video will work. There's also a lot of value in people actually seeing your face and hearing you talk. I know that can be uncomfortable for a lot of producers. I feel like producers tend to be introverts and don't really want to put themselves out there. In my opinion, it makes it a wide open lane for someone willing to do that to come in and start gaining traction. And then it's all about the grind and staying consistent and trying to make amazing videos. So if you're able to build an audience through this and you're providing true value, you can monetize in a lot of different ways. You could sell sample packs like I mentioned earlier. You could do a course.
I have a music production course called Pro Level Beats.
You could sell a plugin.
Literally 2 clicks.
You could do drum kits, and you could do brand deals.
Unison MIDI board pack.
From interviews I've seen and what I've heard, through some of these methods, you can actually do much better than landing a platinum song.
Our plugin made a fucking $1 million in like 4 months.
What I'd recommend is just start posting, study what works, and try to come up with valuable content ideas, and work on overcoming your fear of embarrassment and failure and just stay at it. If you post 100 YouTube videos, pay attention to critical feedback, and spend all your free time studying what works, I think it's very likely that this strategy will work well for you. How long will all this take? It's hard to give an estimated timeline, but if you're already highly skilled, can make high quality and high value videos, and you're posting at least once a week, then I think you could totally make a livable income through this within a year or two. Once again, like everything else, the variable is always how good you are at your craft. So just focus on getting good at producing, making samples, and work on putting yourself out there consistently. If you just have the endurance to stay at it and are willing to adapt, I honestly think things will work out sooner or later. All right, a lot of effort went into this one. I hope you guys learned something. I'm trying to give out every secret I know and add as much real value as I possibly can. So if you got anything from this or just enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you want a part 2 in the comments. Peace.